Remain standing for the pledge of the flag, and I'll present Mr. Don Ash, our EMA Director, for the invocation. Mr. Ash.
Let us pray. Eternal Father God, Lord, we thank you for this opportunity, God, a day you have created. We choose to rejoice and be glad in it. God, we ask you to guide these men as they make decisions for this community and this county, God. And Lord, in all we do, Lord, let us give you thanks, honor, and praise, God. Let us not forget those that serve this community, Lord, that serve this country. And God, we ask you to continue to bless the United States of America. This we pray in your name. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. For the Henry County Board of Commissioners, 6:30 p.m. Tuesday, July the 19th, 2016, meeting come to order. The first order of business, I will announce that you'll notice that a seat is vacant over here. Commissioner Brian Preston, the Commissioner for District 2, moved out of the district, so he resigned on July the 8th, and he will no longer be with us. The acceptance of the agenda, I would like to announce that if you look at item 7, the person that requested to speak called in and indicated that they would like, she was sick and would like for her name to be removed. So if somebody would amend the agenda to take that off. Before we move in that direction, if you look over to item 21, County Attorney, I would like for the board to also add as an amendment acquisition of right-of-way for Campground Road partial 62 and Frog Road partial 30. Having said that, does somebody move in that direction? So have a motion District 5, second District 4. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, same sign. So moved. Next, we'll get a presentation from the SRTA Peach Pass presentation. Mr. Stansel, welcome. You've been here a while. You got here early.
I beat the track.
Practicing.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. My name is Elmer Stansel. I'm with the State Road and Tollway Authority. We operate the Peach Pass toll lane system here in the state. We also provide financing solutions for financing transportation solutions, including the financing, the ability to finance P3 projects. We also had GTIB, Georgia Transportation Infrastructure Bank Awards on June 22nd, and Go Transit Awards. We awarded $75 million to transit projects around the state. Henry County was actually one of those awardees. We awarded $3.5 million to Henry County for the construction of a park and ride facility here in the county. So it's great to be here, and we're going to talk a little bit about the Peach Pass lanes. Tonight, Jill Goldberg with the Georgia Department of Transportation is with me. And she's going to talk a little bit about the construction, and I'll follow up very briefly about the Peach Pass lanes and how they operate. So I'll ask Jill to come up at this time.
Hi, good evening. How are you?
Good evening.
Oh, I got it to work. Okay, so I'm sure most of you have seen the construction around here. This is a brand new built reversible barrier separated system. So it's 12 miles. It will be 2 lanes for the majority of that, and it will head into Atlanta in the peak morning hours and then be reversed at some point during the day and come back to the suburbs in the evening for that peak time. It's about $226 million. One of the great things of having this project is that we can adjust it for special events like NASCAR, spring break, any time that we know that heavy traffic is coming, maybe just a holiday weekend. We can make those adjustments and accommodate the peak flow of traffic. So whether it's going south or north, we can adjust and provide 2 extra lanes for people to choose to use if they want to during that time period. It is from State Route 155, just around where we are, up to State Route 138, so 12 miles. And it's a fairly large project. As I said, $226 million for the design, build, construction. There were 4 new bridges. We are currently done with all of the bridges except the dedicated access point at Jonesboro Road. That will be the one location where you are able to enter the managed lanes directly without being on the regular travel lanes of 75. So there's a traffic light that's been installed on Jonesboro Road and this dedicated access point, and it will enable you to get directly into the managed lanes, which will be in the median of 75. Here's a picture of that dedicated access point. This is a few weeks old here. They've made a little bit more progress since then, but to the left of the screen, that is the east side of the interstate, and the lanes that we're seeing going under the bridge are headed northbound. So that kind of gives you a kind of something to figure out where you are on that, and you'll see how those lanes enter into the center median there. And this is some of the work at I-675. This project, the managed lanes, will have direct connection from 675 and I-75, both south and northbound, depending on which direction they're going. So if you are leaving work and you're coming 675 or 75 south, you'll be able to get directly in the managed lanes from those 2 points. That's a brand new flyover bridge, and it's really moving along, but that's one of the major components of this, is that direct connection there. And this is an example of some of the construction, actually pretty close to here, and you'll see how it is in the median. We did do a lot of work on the existing southbound lanes to move those over further. We didn't have enough space in our median, so we had to take them further over in our right-of-way, but they are still going to be just 3 or 4 lanes, depending on what you already had. It will be the same configuration, and then the 2 new lanes in the median, which will be reversible. And one of the big things that we've been working on is coordinating with first responders, emergency responders, the police, ambulance, fire, even tow truck companies, and of course our hero operators. There will be dedicated hero operators that work down here and only work that managed lane system. So there will be 2 hero drivers that are in the route 24/7 to assist people with any needs that they have and to clear incidents very quickly so that we can keep these lanes flowing at 45 miles per hour over the duration of the trip. We do have emergency access gates. This is a picture of one. That aluminum metal part on the top slides back over the concrete barrier, allowing free flow for emergency vehicles to get in. There's also full shoulder in it, and those emergency gates are about every half mile or so. So they're very frequent. Emergency responders will be able to reach any incidents and needs just as timely as they can from the regular interstate. I think. And now.
Thank you, Jill. So you must have, in order to travel in these new lanes, you must have a Peach Pass account in order to access these lanes. If you're familiar with the lanes that were built in 2011 on I-85 on the northeast side of town, these are similar in operation but different types of lanes. Jill explained that these are reversible lanes, different than the lanes on I-85. The tolls are, like I-85, these tolls are collected electronically, and there's no toll booths or any reason to stop along the 12-mile route. These lanes will build new capacity on I-75. There are currently 3 lanes traveling in one direction. This will add an additional 2 lanes to the interstate there. Everybody that travels in the lane that has a Peach Pass account will pay the tolls that are posted, with the exception of state registered transit and van pools. We currently have over $500,000 or 500,000 transponders in our system right now, and we're looking to add to that when the new lanes open here. After we complete some of these projects, you'll be able to use your Peach Pass in some of the other projects that are being constructed currently, and will open after these lanes open as well. The pricing of the lanes is similar to the other toll lanes in the state. They're dynamically priced. The pricing of the lanes is a mechanism to actually keep the lanes flowing and maintain a constant speed in the lane. So the pricing of the lanes is dependent on the traffic that is in the lane. This is just a picture of one of the toll points along the route. You'll see the gantry up above, and they'll install tolling equipment that'll transpond with the reader that you put in your car. This is just a picture of some of the signs that are up that you may have seen along the route on I-75. This will give information about the toll rates. So how are we letting people know? Well, we began in April with a billboard campaign. You may have seen some of the billboards along I-75. We've also bought media that you'll hear on the radio, along with digital and print media. We're also began a community campaign outreach in April. We've been to the Taste of Henry beginning in April. We've also been to Friday Night Lights at the racetrack. And Rotary and other civic organizations here in the county and other counties along the route. You will also be receiving, we just sent out a letter with more information to our elected officials, and you'll receive more information if you have any constituents that call you. It has information on where to direct them and what to tell them about these new lanes that are coming. So how can you get a Peach Pass? There's several ways. One is to go online at peachpass.com, and you can sign up there. You'll only need a valid credit card, the license plate, make, and model of your vehicle, and you can sign up for a Peach Pass account. The initial account does not cost anything. You will need to deposit $20 into your account, and when you access the tolls and use the tolls, that amount will be deducted from the amount that you have in your account. There are other ways we have a toll-free number that is listed there on the screen. We also have a walk-up center in our building if you're around the Capitol, near Capitol Hill in Atlanta, near the Gold Dome. We also have Department of Driver Services locations along the 85 corridor, and we'll be soon to open one here in Henry County at the driver DDS facility there, opening in the fall. So what's another reason? Another reason not only is to have a Peach Pass account to travel these lanes here in Georgia, but we have entered into a regional interoperability agreement with two other states, Florida and North Carolina, and hopefully soon to announce other states that we'll be operable with. So if you travel in those other states and access their toll lanes, you'll be able to access those lanes with your Peach Pass account, and the tolls will be deducted from your Peach Pass account. Another way to get a Peach Pass account is through the Pay and Go. These are available at any Walgreens or CVS store here in the state, and you can buy these. These are a little bit different. They're similar to a gift card, but the process is the same. You attach these on the windshield of your car, and you're able to access the lanes. Mr. Chairman, that concludes my presentation, but would be glad to answer any questions that you might
Anybody have any questions or comments?
Al, do you have a date yet set when you're going to open?
We don't have a definite date. We're looking at the beginning of 2017, so January, February 2017.
Are our emergency vehicles going to be able to travel on these roads
Yes,
without
sir.
having to pay?
Yes, sir, and we enter into a intergovernmental agreement with public safety agencies, and they can travel in the lanes. They will need a Peach Pass sticker on their vehicles that do travel in the lanes, though.
But it will be free.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So would that apply to county vehicles as well?
Yes, sir. That's through the intergovernmental agreement with the State Road and Tollway Authority. You're able to do that. They will just need a Peach Pass sticker, Peach Pass
You
account.
got any more questions? Okay, I yield for District 1.
I was wondering, on the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, how are y'all going to determine which way the lanes are going to be open and closed?
It'll depend on the event, but the lanes are, it takes some time to reverse the lanes. That operation takes some time because of the safety concerns and other things that need to be done. But we'll, along with the Department of Transportation, we'll coordinate that effort.
Okay.
What if there's no event?
Yeah, right now, the way that we intend to do it is Friday nights, about 10 o'clock or so, it'll shut down for an hour and a half to 2 hours, and then it will reverse, headed back towards Atlanta at that time. And it will stay that way, so it will be set on Monday mornings. But it's possible to change that. The normal routine will be weekdays. It will be that way from Sunday, so it'll be headed towards Atlanta. We will close it down around 11 or noon and reopen it around 1 to 2, headed back southbound. And then after the peak rush hour that evening, basically 10 o'clock or so, we'll close it and reverse it for the morning, so it would be headed the right direction. And then we can adjust that based on whether it's holiday weekend. We're also going to have to track it a little bit and see how the traffic counts are and what our patterns turn out to be after we have it up. But that's the great thing about this, is it's not set in stone. We can change it, and we anticipate our time that's required to make that reversal will improve after we've been doing it for, you know, a period of time. We'll become more efficient at it.
I guess it'd be out of question to open up one northbound and one southbound on the weekend.
No, it's not set up that way because of the entrance and access points. You can't do it, and
That'd
there's
be a
no
little bit-
barriers between the two lanes.
That'd be a little bit kamikaze, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and you bring up a great point, though. That is one reason why we know we're going to have to really track those traffic patterns for a while to see, because this particular area can be just as congested both directions. So we're going to have to really track it and see which one has the most congestion, which direction can we give the greatest relief to for people choosing to use it.
Anybody else got any questions or comments? Yes, sir. I yield the floor to 5.
Revenue do you anticipate generating through Henry County? And the second question is, will Henry County benefit from any of that revenue?
Well, the money that is collected through the tolling will basically go back into a couple of areas. One is to pay the bonds and construction cost off for this, and then they will go to maintain this roadway. You heard me say earlier that we're going to have dedicated hero drivers that are just going to patrol this. We're also going to have to do that sweeping operation each and every time that we clear the lanes. We have to go through and get all the debris up. We need to maintain these lanes to a superior standard even than anything else, because people are paying to use it. So maintenance is always going to be the top level on this system. We will use the tolls to help go towards that. Traditionally, in the past, when we have had any excess tolls, they have gone back into the corridor, wherever that is. On 400, we use them along all of 400 to do different projects there. So that's been the way that it's done in the past. It's not a requirement or anything that it has to be that way, but typically that's how it's been done, so we're anticipating the same at this point. But it's important to know that we're not going to have excess tolls for years to come on it. That will be somewhere way down the future when those decisions have to be made by people.
I think I asked how the anticipated annual revenue coming through Henry County. Do you have any idea?
I'm sure we have it, but I honestly don't know it. Do you remember seeing it?
I don't. I'll have to
Yeah.
send that information to you. I don't have it on hand. And just to talk a little bit about the tolling, the way that these lanes are built, the tolling is a mechanism in order to help the traffic flow. So this is a little bit different from the Georgia 400 tolls in that it's a fixed facility that collected a toll at a point. The tolling in these lanes is actually used in order to help the traffic flow. So we anticipate the tolls being there for the life of the project.
District 3?
One more question. I know when I look at those lanes, it looks awful tight in there. Is there going to be ample room on both sides to be able to pull over? And then how are you going to deal with somebody that gets broke down and traffic's already going, and
Right.
if they're reversing it, how are you going to deal with all that?
That's a great question. Thank you. There will be one full shoulder on the side, and then the other side has about 4 or 5 feet. It's not a full shoulder over there, but keep in mind that the lanes are going the same direction. So you have one full shoulder that a vehicle can be moved to. If a vehicle does break down there, this is a little different than the way it operates currently on any of our express roadways, or even, you know, city streets, county streets, whatever. You can generally leave your car there, maybe get a ride, have your husband or brother or somebody else, a mechanic, come back later and do some work on it or something like that. This is not going to be that type of a setup on this roadway. You're going to have your car removed before we do the next reversal cycle. It's a danger to have have a car out there facing the wrong direction on it. We are working right now to get a contract with a towing company that will do that specifically if you're unable to remove your car in the time period. And we're going to have signs posted as to, who the towing company is and where you would need to go to get your car. And it will also come out when you sign up for your Peach Pass. You'll get notification that there will be towing on this. That has to be done in a certain amount of time. And if you don't get your vehicle by that time, if you can't for whatever reason, then it will be towed. It'll let you know where. It'll be part of your user agreement to do it. That's one of the things that we've been working in this first responders group with, is how best to handle that, where would you need to post the signs, what websites to put it on, and all of that. But it will be a safety issue that everything has got to be removed before we can make a reversal.
Any more questions? I yield the floor to District 4.
Chairman. Mine's going to be around public safety, and it behooves me to ask this because we've had several of our firefighters and bring this up. There does not appear to be an emergency access gate by the hospital. This is a bit concerning to us because we don't know, we've looked at going over the wall and they're too high.
Right.
You can't put somebody over the wall. Yeah. What's the plans if we have a bad accident out there, which we have them just about every weekend now? Somebody's out there, bad accident, and we can't get to the hospital.
It is true that's not in there at this time. It has been brought up off and on. From what I understand, they are taking another look at it right now, but I would say it's highly unlikely that something will be changed in the project at this point. However, those emergency gates are approximately every half mile out there, so they're going to work and figure that out. It may be a situation where they have to take the vehicle out, or they have to come in a reverse way to it. If it's that bad of an accident, all lanes are going to be blocked. So emergency responders may come in from the opposite direction and have to enter the managed lanes that way. They have the ability to open the gates, the regular gates. We can open those manually if needed. Those emergency gates are also manually opened. So we can accommodate them probably within a half mile either direction to get in. And they may have to go back the wrong direction to get to it, but that's part of what they're doing right now. They meet every month and they do tabletop exercises trying to figure out all of these scenarios. And as we progress a little bit closer to this, like Elmer mentioned, it's less than 6 months away at this point that it's going to be opened. So as we're getting through the next few months, they're going to actually do live exercises out on the roadway and practice all of this and figure out what is the best way to get there based on the resources that they have available. So it is something we're aware of. We've looked at it a number of different ways. It doesn't seem feasible to do anything else, especially this late in the project, but they are working on solutions for it should it happen.
Okay.
Any more questions, comments? Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Public comment. Citizens are allowed to voice county-related concerns, opinions, etc., that are not listed on the agenda during this portion of the meeting. All persons wishing to speak for public comments must sign in with the county clerk prior to the beginning of the meeting. You must complete the public comment speaker form or you will not be recognized. You will be able to address the board for 5 minutes. Each person who addresses this board shall not make any personal, impertinent, slanderous, or profane remarks to any member of this board, staff, or general public. Any person who makes such remarks or who utters loud, threatening, personal, or abusive language or engages in any other disorderly conduct which disrupts, disturbs, or otherwise impedes the orderly conduct of the board meeting shall, at the discretion of the chair or the majority of the council, be barred from the further audience before the board during the meeting. Having said that, we have 7 people that like to be heard. I hear them in the order that they signed up. The first will be Mr. Dan Edwards. You have 5 minutes, and just for the record, if you would, when you come to the podium, state your name, please.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. My name is Dan Edwards, 795 Blueberry Lane. And Mr. Chairman, despite me being the son of a Southern Baptist preacher, I'll be short in my remarks here. This is a very exciting time for us, Mr. Chairman. And by us, I mean myself and the members of Greater New Hope Christian Assembly. It's back to school time, and I'm sure those sentiments cannot be shared with some of the kids that are going back to school, but this is an exciting timing for us. And I would like to announce our 5th annual book bag giveaway, which will take place on Saturday, July 30th, 2016 at Austin Road Middle School. This will be our second year partnering with Austin Road Middle School and them hosting this event. It'll be from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Registration will start at 8:45 in the morning. It's open to all Henry County residents as well as any residents across the Atlanta metro area, or if you want to come from Valdosta, Georgia, then so be it. I would like to really give a special thanks to Ecolab of McDonough, Mr. Chairman, which is a few miles away from here, for their community service grant, as well as Nike for donating over 1,100 book bags to us, enabling us to distribute more book bags than our 5-year history of having the event. And to date, we've given away over 3,500 book bags stuffed with school supplies. And we started this event in 2011. The economy was still recovering, and it was such a success that we kept on doing it. And even now, I think I read a report where teachers spend somewhere upwards of $2,500 to $3,000 of their own money annually on school supplies. And we as a church feel it's the duty and responsibility of the church to fill that void. So that's what we're doing here, and that's why we feel this event is important. We're happy to partner again with movie star and hip-hop recording artist T.I. this year, which he is also a Henry County resident, as well as Sideman from Magic 107.5. Before I sit down, Mr. Chairman, I really would be remiss if I didn't thank Mr. Gabriel Wiley from Austin Road Middle School. He's been a true partner. Like I said, this will be our second year partnering with Austin Road Middle School, and as well as Chief Nichols of the Henry County Police Department and the fine men and women who serve under his leadership, as well as Sheriff McBrayer and the fine men and women who serve under his leadership. They've been true partners the past 5 years of us hosting the event, and I just want to thank them for their service in this county, and especially with this event. So with that being said, again, it's Saturday, July 30th, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Registration starts at 8:45 in the morning. If anyone has any questions, they can email gnhcabookbag@gmail.com. Again, that's gnhcabookbag@gmail.com, or they could call 678-272-7141. Again, that's 678-272-7141. Again, we're very excited to host this event this year. Thank you. I yield the rest of my time.
Thank you so much. Next, Mr. Carl Swenson.
Good evening, gentlemen. I'm Carl Swenson from 43 Stagecoach Road in Stockbridge, Georgia, the unincorporated part. Have a few things to go over here with you tonight, and I'm going to start from the beginning. And the beginning is this little document called your oath of office. And I've highlighted the important part of this section just so that you know. And I have blown it up here. Yeah, I've got it blown up, so there we go. And you'll notice that one of the things that it says is, I do further solemnly swear or affirm that I am not the holder of any unaccounted for public money due this state or any political subdivision or authority thereof. All of you took, and signed that oath. And in the Georgia Constitution, persons who are not eligible to hold office, part of that says, or who is a holder of public funds illegally shall be eligible to hold any office or appointment of honor or trust in this state. (45-3-1) of OCGA further says that you will swear to the fact that he or she is not the holder of any unaccounted for public money due this state or any political subdivision or authority thereof. Now, unfortunately for us, we have two, one current, one former, commissioners that were in arrears to the state. The first one Let's see here. You may have to zoom in on that. The first one there is Brian Preston. Now, I don't know why he decided he was going to turn in his resignation, but he was aware of this. The other one is Mr. Bruce Holmes. Now, what this shows is that in July of 2012, prior to them winning their seats, they owed this money and still owed it as of, I think that was June 22nd when I pulled these documents down. And it doesn't matter that they get paid now, because you see the problem is that he took his oath while having owed the state money. And that, my friends, is a federal violation, or a felony violation. One of which is 16-10-1. Any public official, any public officer who willfully and intentionally violates the terms of his oath as prescribed by law shall, upon conviction thereof, be punishable by imprisonment of not less than 1 year nor more than 5. There are other violations to the law that carry with it additional penalties. And although I'm not going to do this tonight, I want you to understand something, that we as citizens have the right to make sure that justice is applied equally across the board. This is one of the things that we have as an option. When the people around us, you, the police, the judges, when nobody responds, who do we turn to? Well, we've really only got one place we can turn to, and that is the grand jury, and I will put an appeal out right now to any grand jury member that sees this to subpoena me so that I can bring this evidence and a lot more before them. 17-4-60 is the grounds for arrest, a citizen's arrest. 17-4-61 states that when I do that arrest, I can turn that person over to any peace officer, and that it is his duty and responsibility to take that person into custody and to the nearest magistrate. Now, don't plan on doing that here tonight. Instead, what I want to do is this. I want to offer you, Mr. Holmes, I have nothing against you, I have nothing against Preston, but I want to offer you the opportunity to tender your resignation or spare the county the indignity of having you go through the legal process. And they will go through the legal process, one way or the other. We are not going to leave this alone. 16-10-50, hindering apprehension or punishment of a criminal. That's something that the police officers have to consider on this. And just lastly, I just want to put this up. This is a list of the violations currently by Clayton County. Yeah.
Mr. Larry Morey.
Larry Morey, 418 Gloucester, Locust Grove Community. About 1988, we quit using corrugated pipe in southwest Georgia, and because it would rust out. And then they come along with, they coat it with a little black paint, and it continued to rust out, so we just had a lot of problems. And when I moved to Henry County, it seemed that it got a lot of iron rocks here, and it has a tendency to do the same thing here as well. And I was just kind of bewildered on 155 going from 75 to Spalding County, where you're building all those warehouses. We're out there digging up concrete pipe, and I'm talking about thousands of feet of concrete pipe and putting in corrugated pipe. So I stopped and asked one of the guys, I wanted to know myself. And he said, oh, we paint them with aluminum. I said, well, when you're putting that pipe in the ground, you skin it, it's going to be the same thing. He said, well, it's a lot cheaper than concrete. So, Mr. Bonner, you need to be aware. It may be different. These iron rocks here may be different from ones where I come from. But I was just amazed that they were out there digging up all these concrete pipes that was already in the ground. Some engineer engineered, and they're putting in corrugated aluminum coated steel pipes. Same thing, just different paint. The second thing is, has the board went forward with any way of planning the impact of the continued building of warehouses in small locations? Has there been any study as to know what's going to happen with the traffic systems? Because the last time I talked to y'all about it, there's been 5 more brought into this county, into that area. And, you know, I don't know what y'all are doing, but I hope that you're planning somehow or another, because if you don't, we're not going to be able to get up. It ain't going to do no good for you to build 75 because hell, we can't get to 75. Tommy, somebody better do something now, because I told y'all I'm having to hire teachers 2 hours to wait for their mamas and daddies to get home, to get the children. After a while, we ain't going to be able to get to work. So y'all keep sticking, you know, ostrich sticks his head in the dirt. Somebody better get the head out of the dirt and start planning. Thank y'all.
Thank you. Ms. Katie Young.
Just a brief, my brother and I wanted to bring our organization to the, out to you guys to let you guys know. We're a nonprofit organization, You Deserve It Mentoring for Teens. We're a grassroots organization. We've been helping around in Henry County, Henry County, Clayton County, DeKalb County, and we've just been going around helping teens with every issue that they possibly could deal with. We focus on abuse, adopted, at risk, just challenging, just mentally challenged, any obstacle that could hold them from reaching their destination. So what we're bringing today is that we're in the process of getting a facility that we can house and train teenagers to help reach their next goal. I understand that there's a lot going on. We understand that there's a lot going on, and the training that our teens are not getting, we want to be able to help provide some of those training, as the simple things as far as respect, acknowledging those who are above you, and making good choices and good decisions. So we just wanted to let you guys know, or to share that with you, that we'll be coming. We're in the process. I want to put that up there so they can write that down. Write that down. Those that want to partner with us or work with us, we're several teams. We're doing job training. We have jobs that will give them jobs, that will train them and allow them the opportunity to move forward instead of taking, the quick way out, drugs or gangs, looking for, a quick outaway or getaway to do the things that would cause them to be progressive in life. So that's You Deserve It Mentoring, and we just want to bring that to you guys' attention to let you guys know that we are in the organization. We've been working with the schools, Henry County schools. I've been working with DFACS over at across the way, mentoring with the girls and boys and helping those guys get foster homes and all of that good stuff. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. Thank you.
Thank you. Vicki Brinson.
Hi, I'm Vicki Brinson, and I was asked to speak tonight on behalf of Shining Light Ministries, and I want to give you a little insight into my personal experience there. My daughter was a resident at Shining Light during 2014 and for 4 months of 2015. I think there's been some people that have been trying to maybe make Shining Light Out Ministries to maybe something it's not. My daughter had been to several other drug rehab programs and was not successful. With the help of Teresa Bestwick and Shining Light Ministries, it was a complete success, and that was a couple of years ago. And the one thing I want to tell you about is the structure that Shining Light Ministries has. When my daughter was there, Teresa told me the first thing was that you will not have any access to her, and no one else will either. The first 30 days, after she'd been there 30 days, I could spend 1 hour with her. So in telling you that, that tells you the structure, the type of structure they have. It's a lockdown facility. They have no access to phones, televisions, radio, nothing like that. They're very guarded in everything that goes on there. And then after 30 days, I got to spend 1 hour there. Then the next 30 days was the same. And until she'd been there at least 6 months and had shown the progress through the program, and then that got extended a little bit. But still, it was a 24-hour lockdown facility. And through spending the time there that she did, she has become a very productive citizen back in the workforce and a mother to her children again. And I have to tell you that probably without Shining Light Ministries, and especially Teresa Bestwick, my daughter would be dead. Because that's where she was whenever she found her way to Shining Light Ministries. There are a lot of drug programs out there, and I have to say, the majority of them do not stick. Shining Light Ministries is, in my opinion, just hands above anything. I mean, we should be so proud to even have the opportunity to have a program like this in McDonough when drugs are running rampant. And it's not just people out on the streets, you know, I'll just use the word, you know, your average drug user out there. You'd be surprised at the mothers and fathers, I'll use the word soccer moms out there, which, you know, you can relate to, that end up there. And I think we should do everything in our power to support and everything that we can a program like this. Teresa Bestwick has devoted her life to this program, and it has literally saved, I don't even know how many lives and families that have been brought back together because of this. So I just want to give you a little bit of my insight into Shining Light Ministries. Thank you.
Thank you. What I'd like to do now is just make a comment. I'm speaking for the chairman, but I think I'm speaking for the entire board here. We do not have any problem with the credibility of the program. I think everybody up here appreciates the fact it's a good program. And it's helped many people. I understand the success rate's 87% or so. But that's not the issue. The issue is we've got to, some neighbors out there, that we got to find a way to coexist. Shining Light has certain legal rights. The residents out there have certain legal rights. And we are kind of a stalemate as to, it's not who's right or who's wrong, but we just got to get together. And I got a meeting tomorrow with several Shining Light people, some of the residents out there, some of the staff members with Shining Light, and we're just going to get face to face and find out what the problem is. But keep in mind, I can't stress this enough, it has absolutely nothing to do with the program. It's a good program. We understand it's a good program. but it's the nature of where it is in a residential area, and it's just creating some issues for the residents. So when they have issues, that creates an issue for us, but everybody's got their legal rights, so we just need to sit down and find out exactly how we can coexist, and we're going to coexist. So I just wanted to throw that out just for record. So I know people are trying to indicate how good the program is. We sold on that. So it has nothing to do with the credibility of the program itself. So having said that, Ms. Sharon White.
Good evening, Chairman. My name is Shannon White. I'm the daughter that she was referring to. You having said that and knowing the program's success rate and that it was my 13th attempt. And I was not a productive member of the society. I was arrested back to back to back to back, and there was nowhere else for me to go. We were not partying all night long. It is 24-hour lockdown. No access to phones is exactly what I needed. I've been coast to coast rehab. And I hope that we do find a way to coexist with the residents being there and the people that live around there. Because during my 16 months there, we were never an issue. There was never anything, no drugs, no partying that went around. And it's the only thing that saved my life. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Abe Sneed.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm here as an advocate for responsible parents in Henry County here. I have a middle schooler with an elementary middle school coming up this year. And I'd like to see some programs initiated for our youth in this county, maybe a Boys and Girls Club, YMCA, at least a swimming pool somewhere, because there's a lot of things our children don't have access to. For me to access those facilities, I have to go to Rockdale, Clayton, DeKalb County. And as for those taxpaying citizens here, we should consider those kind of initiatives for those, because those are very vulnerable children at that age group. And I know my child goes to summer camp now with Parks and Recreation. The camp has exploded in growth and size this last year due to the growth in the county. And a lot of revenue has been generated from that, so some kind of revenue could be channeled toward instituting programs for our youth to have over the summertime, after school program, like the mentoring program she's discussing. I think very beneficial for us. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We have a request to address the Board of Commissioners, Mr. Don Dunlap, Chairman of the Shining Light Ministry. Mr. Dunlap. Good evening.
Good evening, Chairman Smith, board members. I appreciate the words that you just said about us reconciling between each other. One of the reasons that I wanted to be on the agenda this evening was that a lot of our citizens really don't know what Shining Light Ministries is. We've had some folks that have talked. It's kind of like when you're the blind man feeling an elephant, and none of them really know what it is that they've got a hold of, if they got a tail or a trunk or a leg. And so what I thought it might be helpful to do is to let folks know what is Shining Light and what isn't Shining Light. And maybe that would be helpful for folks to know what this program is that's right here in our backyard in McDonough off Racetrack Road. So what Shining Light Ministries is it's a residential transitional recovery home for women who are recovering from drug and alcohol addiction. And I wanted to break that down a little bit. It's residential. It's a residence. It's a home. It's not an institution. It's not a hospital. It's not a clinic. It's not some aseptic thing that's got steel bunk beds and a thin mattress and stuff. I mean, it's a home. If you haven't been there, please come down and take a look at this facility. It's amazing. One of the things that makes it so effective is its location right there, right off of Racetrack Road, but you never hear traffic, you never hear anything from the outside. It's a residence. It's a kind of place that I grew up in the country, but it happens to be right there in McDonough. It's transitional. It's a place where folks can make a transition from a life of dependence to a life of independence and freedom. It's not a place that people are remanded to coming out of court. It's not a halfway house or something. This is a place of transition from their old life to their new life. It's a recovery home. It's for recovery. It's for folks that are recovering, not still engaged in their addictive behaviors. These are people that are done with that and they're moving forward to the next stage of their life. And it's for women. We only accept women. The residents and the staff are all female. They're the only people that stay there on the property. Of the 98 people that have entered our program, 49 of them have graduated. They've completed all 12 months of the program. And of those graduates, 44, that's 44 out of the 49, are living lives without drugs and or alcohol. Unfortunately, some of those folks have done some things that have landed them back in jail or prison. And part of our goal is to eliminate recidivism as well. So we don't really count that as a success. So even under a more strict definition of success, 34 of our graduates are clean and sober at this writing. That's a 69% success rate, as we define success, living clean and sober and not back in the criminal justice system. Most other recovery programs have less than a 10% recovery rate. What makes us better? Something does, right? So, as Ms. Brinson alluded to, we've got a 24-hour supervision in our main house. We've got trauma resolution classes. We have more recognition therapy classes. We have both group and individual counseling. Our counselors and therapists are certified. Every day, our girls go to AA and or NA meetings. We're certified through the Georgia Association of Recovery Residences. We have Safe People class, Boundaries class, and boundaries is a big deal. Being able to stay in your own lane is something that's huge to be successful out in the big world. Conflict management classes, being able to interact with other people successfully, especially in the workplace and in life. Anger management. You guys know my day job is I teach high school in an alternative school. Anger management is a huge deal for those folks, and seeing these people be able to learn how to manage that in a place where there's a safety net is a huge benefit to us. We have life skills classes, nutrition classes. The program here, it's based on the 12 steps, and residents work through each step until their treatment team deems that it's appropriate for them to proceed to the next step. They take the time to reflect on where they were, where they are, and where they're going. There's a lot of homework that they do. These classes are not just class in name only. These young ladies are going back and they are digging deep inside themselves and digging down to the problems that caused them to do the things that they did that led to these addictions. We're not treating symptoms. There's the big difference, is our young ladies have the ability to dig down and get to the problems that have entered their lives, usually some type of traumatic event or some life event, and look at it, pull it out, examine it, and see how it is that they can best live with that. Take the drug and alcohol that they've been relying on out of their life and fill that hole with something wholesome, something good, and they can grow and become productive citizens in our society. One of the big things that makes us successful, and that's just anecdotal talking to some of the young ladies on our campus, is our setting. It is quiet, it's serene, it's bucolic. It is the setting that allows them to be reflective, contemplative, and be able to look at themselves completely and holistically. They can self-examine and reflect so that they can lead this to a successful recovery. So that's what we are. We've had some folks that have come up and talked to y'all, and they've said some things that aren't necessarily accurate. So some of the things that we're not. Number one, we do not have a one-lane easement road. That was mentioned in a meeting, I think, last month. We have a driveway. It's totally on our land. Now, we have a neighbor that uses that driveway. There's no easement, there's no allowing or anything. She just uses our driveway. That's been fine for, quite some time. Now there are some issues, but understand that that's our driveway. It's not a place where residents are doing drugs or drinking alcohol. We drug test, we do alcohol tests on all the residents all the time. We have random bed checks and searches. We don't have those substances on our campus. We just don't. They're not there. It's not a drug treatment facility. We're a recovery home. We are not a clinical facility. We're a place where people recover and rebuild their lives. We don't have girls out all hours of the day and night. We have curfews, schedules, supervision, as you've heard here just recently, from people that have been through it, been there and done that, as they say. We are not moving a criminal element into our community. In fact, the opposite is happening. The graduates of our program don't go back to their previous lives and their previous associates. One of the things that they learn is that if you play the same video back, you're going to see the same picture. So they don't put themselves back in that same position with those same people in those same circumstances. They start new lives here, becoming productive, contributing citizens in this community. And they add to and they don't detract from the quality of life in our community. And something I think, or I hope that you heard in the previous remarks here, was that it's not just the girls that turn around. Instead of paying to incarcerate somebody, they're now paying taxes. They're buying stuff, and you know about the multiplier effect in the economy. But in addition, their parents aren't having to deal with them being in all these different facilities, or, God forbid, dead. Most of these people have kids. They're now mothers that have children. We have families that are able to live the American dream instead of being broken and forlorn and despondent. So I think if you talk about economic development, you talk about our community being a better place to live, work, and play, this is exactly what we want to have in our community. So I'm going to be stepping down from my role as chair and board member effective tomorrow morning to ensure that my presence doesn't adversely impact this ministry. So this evening, I've got 4 minutes and 11 seconds if you guys had some questions or clarifying comments you might want to make.
None. Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Request to address the Board of Commissioners, Mr. Bill Toney, regarding county-operated owned properties and appointees by the Board of Commissioners.
Bill Toney, McDonough, Georgia.
to the clerk, please. And she'll pass them out. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Holmes, before when I was up here, our previous county manager, I felt like made some racial remarks, and I called him out on it. Not this one, Mr. Walker. And you didn't seem to think that that it was. I don't know. It was my opinion, and that's what I felt. In this right here on social media, people coming before this board is their constitutional right. I hope you agree with that. All right. This right here says that you on social media saying this is crazy, these board meetings. I hope our board has police protection at our next meeting. These individuals show up at our meetings regularly. This is very concerning. Have I ever said anything disrespectful to you or moved in any way?
Is this about you? This was about citizens' arrests
at
the Board of Commissioners meeting in Clayton County, not Henry County.
Well, your name's on here. So this right here is upsetting to me. And I have another one that's...
So this has nothing to do with you, Mr. Tony.
Well, I'm a citizen.
It was an article in the Clayton County paper that I made reference to, and I still think it was crazy.
Yeah, but sometimes in our positions we can't always say things like that because they have rights. I'm going to the clerk. All right. Did you have an extra one? Okay. Are you familiar with this newspaper, Mr. Holmes?
No. I'm not familiar with that.
You're on the front page of it.
Correct.
Okay, it says, coming soon, Atlanta South News, black news for black people. Information is education. Support the History House. Let's be about it. Our youth survival depends on it. USE, African concept to mean the power to make things happen and produce change. All right.
And what does that have to do with me?
Well,
the article was about my youth foundation.
Okay.
So what?
But this is hooked to your name, and it's a newspaper, and that, I mean, to me, that was kind of.
What is the article? What is the article about me? What does that have to do with what somebody else wrote in the screen?
Well, you're the one that shared it, so
I'm sharing the paper with me on the cover of the paper.
Okay.
So what's the issue?
Let me ask you this.
No, let me ask you, what is the issue?
A black.
I'm asking you, what is the issue? This is an article about my youth foundation that I shared.
Well,
Simple
this
as that.
Atlanta South News, black news for black people. I mean, that don't sound right. And your picture on it too. I mean, it was just concerning to me. I'm sorry.
That
okay.
All right, you can be concerned all you want. I shared a newspaper article about my youth foundation where I was on the cover of the paper. Is that against the law?
Nothing's against the law. I mean, I was just concerned.
Well, you should take it up with Chastity House.
All right, I will. Okay. With that being said, I'm on your side.
Okay,
I believe in rights.
I'm on your side as well.
Okay. The people that get up here and speak, and not just me, they're not crazy people. They're citizens, and they have a right
I
to
made
speak.
reference to the title in the Clayton County newspaper. I didn't make reference to an individual.
Well, wait a minute. You're right.
Correct.
All right. I like to keep everything clean. You know me.
You can bring up whatever you want.
All right. Very good. Okay. Appointees. This right here.
Clock back.
All right, thank you, Mr. Smith. This right here, we were looking at the Water Authority, the appointees, and I got this right here. It's, we're using Senator Rick Jeffries. He makes $10,500. He made that in 2015. They have 12 meetings a year, average of 2 hours or less per meeting. Plus he gets health benefits. I really think this needs to be changed. I mean, $437.50 an hour to go to a meeting, a county meeting, that's ridiculous. I hope y'all agree with that. And I hope you feel the need to revisit that later on. This one to me, this is out of it needs a lot of attention. Okay. Cotton fields. I'd like to put this up first. The definition of insanity. This golf course is insane to keep this thing open, to keep throwing money after it over and over and over. I met with the county manager over there Friday. 5 o'clock, they'd had 15 people in there, the man said. Now, we had a couple of people that came up, but all day long, he had 15 people in there. Now, it's going to cost, the golf cart renewal's coming up. I mean, y'all going to have to commit to, I think it's coming up tonight, to 60 cars. It's going to be $57 a month. If I'm not mistaken, 4 years. So to me, that's a lot of money. But the budget to repair this thing, the renovation budget on this is almost $500,000. Now, we've been throwing money over and over and over into this thing, and we're just not doing any good. Mr. Holmes, I was looking at your resume, so to speak, about the county, and you went to the University of Minnesota. You mastered in business management from the University of Minnesota at St. Mary's. Thank you, sir. I appreciate this. And when they teach you in business, you don't keep throwing good money after bad. You got to know when it's just like an old car when it's rusty. You got to know when it's repairable, when it's not. This one right here is not repairable. We need to get behind this thing. please stop the madness. Close this golf course. Let's put this thing behind us. I don't know what the whole purpose of y'all keeping this thing open for. You're fixing to commit us tonight to 4 years of 60 golf cars at, you're gonna be paying probably close to $60 a month for. That's for a long time. This thing, it's time for it to end. Please, let's get this thing closed. Let's get it done, get it over with. Now, I don't know if it's a pride thing. I don't know what it is. Mr. Moss, it's in your district, I think. I don't know why you're not even speaking up more about it. That you should be on board of all to do it. From what I understand, the Board of Education wants 100 acres over there, or they're talking to you about it. I rode around with Mr. Bonner, and I could see one of the most beautiful office complexes in there I've ever seen, to where we can get some high-tech, high-paying jobs here and keeping people off of 75. We got these reversible lanes and everything else going in here. Let's get some industry coming in here, high-paying jobs. That would make one of the most attractive office complexes that you could imagine, with the water and everything else. We need to have our development authority, the people that we're paying to get going on this thing and get it done. What we need to do, please, let's shut this thing down. Please, tonight, please vote no to doing these carts and doing all this stuff. Let's get this thing closed. Let's get it sold. Let's get it done. They've got millions of dollars that they're wanting to put into it. So I'm for getting it done. Please, let's get it done and get it over with. Thank you very much. Y'all have a great evening.
Thank you. Consent agenda. The following agenda items shall be considered on the consent agenda. Before voting on the consent agenda, the chairman will provide opportunity to add or delete the item. I am suggesting that this be consented. Tax assessor. Appointment of William A. Thompson, Jr. to Henry County Board of Tax Assessors, Exhibit 1. Reappointment of Pamela Attaway to Henry County Board of Tax Assessors, Exhibit 2. District Attorney Victim Service Program Resolution authorizing approval to apply for a Victim of Crime Act grant for federal FY October 1st, 2016 through September 30, 2017. Sentence and Enforcement Resolution approving electronic monitoring contract for the Henry County Probation Services. Juvenile Court Resolution accepting a grant award in the amount of $239,811 from the State of Georgia Office of Governor Criminal Justice Coordination Council. Human Resources, a resolution approving amendment to the ACCG 457B Deferred Compensation Plan for Henry County employees, permitting plan participating to make Roth contributions. At this time, I would give any commissioner the opportunity to add or delete any items that you might want to discuss. Hearing none, seeing none, if somebody move, we approve the consent agenda as read.
Move to approve.
Have motion District 3.
Second.
Second District 1. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, same sign. So moved. Public Safety, a resolution awarding bid for the annual contract for recertification and repairs of laser and radar detection devices. Our favorite Major Keith Goins.
Evening, Chairman, Board of Commissioners. Contract before you is for the recertification and repair of the lasers and radars for the speed detection devices, which expired on July 31st of 2016. Lasers and radars are a valuable tool for law enforcement officers to detect speed violators, assist in reducing traffic accidents, and warn citizens of their speed. The certification and operation of these devices are vital for the successful prosecution and education of the citizens. A bid was conducted through the Purchasing Department of Henry County and posted on the websites of the county. Team Georgia Marketplace, ACCG, GLGA. Bid invitations were sent out via the Team Georgia Marketplace, and one vendor responded. Mobile Communications of Athens LLC, located in Covington, Georgia, submitted the only bid. The contract is for 1 year and may be renewed for 2 additional year periods. Funding for the recertifications and repairs of speed detection devices have been budgeted for in the current budget.
Anybody got any questions or comment? If not, somebody move to approve the resolution as read.
Move to approve.
Have a motion, District 1.
Second.
Second, District 4. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, same sign. So moved.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Stormwater resolution approving payment to the City of McDonough for Oak Park Stream Restoration Project. Ms. Tucker, good evening.
Good evening, Chairman, Commissioners. Okay, on May 19th, 2014, Henry County entered into an intergovernmental agreement with the City of McDonough to pay for 34% of the total costs related to the Oak Park Stream Restoration Project. On June 3rd, 2014, the Board of Commissioners authorized Henry County Stormwater to pay the city 34% of total costs estimated at $225,000. This is Exhibit 1. In May of 2015, the stream restoration project was completed, but the actual cost totaled $334,887. And this is in Exhibit 2. So the difference between the estimated and the actual total costs were primarily due to the following 3 activities that were not anticipated in the original estimate. The first activity was the higher construction contract. The stream restoration contract was awarded to C&C Lovejoy LLC, and on September 21st, 2015, the City of McDonough approved payment to the C&C Lovejoy Company in the amount of $296,637, which is Exhibit 3. Oh, as you see in that middle section total. The second activity was that a sewer line had to be relocated during the construction. On September 21st, 2014, the City of McDonough approved payment to the C&C Lovejoy Company, who was awarded the bid contract to relocate the sewer line that ran parallel to the stream. This was in the amount of $31,200. The third activity was a drainage ditch construction. In December of 2015, heavy rainfall severely impacted the progress of the stream restoration. And this was the drainage coming off of Highway 42. To mitigate the erosion and the sedimentation that was happening in the stream, the City of McDonough approved payment to the C&C Lovejoy Company to construct a drainage ditch in the amount of $9,500. Overall, Stormwater does have the funds available in the professional account 543-2012 to pay the City of McDonough as fulfillment for the county's portion of the Oak Park stream restoration. And here's just a few pictures. The first top 3 pictures is what the stream looked like prior to construction. The bottom one is post-construction, just to give you an idea of the drastic improvement that took place out there. And these are just examples of the estimate or the actual costs that were incurred for the 2 items that were not in the original estimate.
Did you put the total cost back up, please? You know, if you look at the agreement that we signed, a resolution, and I remember Commissioner Barnes and I negotiating all this, they estimated, and it was supposed to be a close estimate, to be $225,000. So when we went to the board, the selling point was we was going to pay 33% basically, so it ended up being 34%. So our 34% was supposed to be 34% of 225. So now it's 34% of 348,000. So I just wanted to make that a note. And this is where we get caught up in spending monies that we don't really anticipate spending. But at this point here, I don't see where we have a choice. So we have the funds available in stormwater. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Did somebody move that we adopt this resolution?
Move to approve.
Have a motion, District 3.
Second.
Second, District 4. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, same sign. So moved. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Emergency Management Resolution approving the renewal of the Harris Radio System Maintenance Agreement for fiscal year 2016-17. Mr. Ash.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Commissioners. Appreciate the opportunity to speak to you. This is a renewal contract for the Harris Wireless System. As I go through this resolution, I would like to update the board and let you know that because of the SPLOST project, we had our kickoff meeting today for the upgrade to the radio system. Since we moved forward with this project, we have slowly pulled equipment that is no longer needed on warranty off. So last year we budgeted for the same project was $616,000. This year we're reducing it down to $435,000, and my intention is to pay it on a month-to-month basis. And as the project moves forth, we'll probably pull more equipment off that lease agreement and recurring maintenance costs for additional savings to the county. This is a budgeted item in our budget, and I'm requesting authorization to move forward with it.
Anybody have any questions or comment? If not, does somebody move to adopt this resolution as read?
I have a question, just real quick, Don.
I yield the floor to District 4.
Thank you, Chairman. Not about this, but how are we coming on our new radios? Our new, where are we at?
Absolutely.
Time frame?
We've adopted, today was the kickoff meeting. We have the final design review scheduled for August the 23rd. We found out today, because we only have one site, we have to do civil engineering on, being the tower at Station 1, the 300-foot tower, to reinforce it for equipment. Our project timeline is actually a total of 315 days. Meeting with the engineering team today, we feel that we will move a lot quicker with the project.
Okay, great, fantastic.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Somebody moving to adopt the resolution as we just read.
Move to approve, Chair.
Have a motion, District 4.
Second.
Second, District 3. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, same sign. So moved. Resolution approving renewal of a Relay System Incorporated service agreement for the 911 Center for FY 2016-2017.
This is a recurring maintenance cost for our recording system in the 911 system. Unfortunately, this project is also wrapped up in our SPLOST project. There's some enhancements and products that will come forth in this project. This is the recurring maintenance, and we will also pay it on a month-to-month basis. Depending on the SPLOST project, this system may be replaced, and we'll be able to save some money on the warranty on it as well. This is a budgeted item, and I'm requesting authorization to move forward with it.
Anybody have any questions or comments? Not, does somebody move to adopt the resolution?
Move to approve, Chair.
Have a motion, District 4.
Second.
Second, District 5. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, same sign. So moved.
Thank you, sir.
This right here is going to constitute a public hearing, an ordinance to amend Chapter 4, Site Design Standards, Section 4.04.02, Major and Minor Subdivision in Apex A, definition as it pertains to major and minor subdivisions and lot divisions and for other purposes. Mr. Gibbs, good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners. On February 7th, 2012, The Board of Commissioners tabled the original proposed text amendment specific to clarifying the ULDC regulations for major and minor subdivisions to be revisited at a later date. In recent months, staff has received inquiries regarding minor subdivisions from potential developers, and this prompted staff to examine our ULDC requirements and resulted in revisiting the original proposed text amendment that is before you this evening. Our ULDC is not explicitly clear on the difference between minor and major subdivisions with regards to maximum number of lot divisions permitted, which warrants clarification. The original text amendment proposed by staff recommended increasing the maximum number of lots to 5. Staff now recommends that in addition to the aforementioned maximum number of lot divisions being set at 5, language also be added to the ULDC regarding lot splits producing over 5 lots be considered major subdivisions, which would in turn recategorize minor subdivisions as a type of lot division. Staff further recommends amending the technical definitions in Appendix A of the ULDC to redefine lot divisions as a sub-definition of subdivisions and add the definition of a major subdivision as a sub-definition of subdivisions. With that said, I'll place a comparison table of what we currently have in our ULDC versus what staff is recommending on the overhead.
Comments or questions? Okay, I'll put you on number 1 when you get through with this.
The items highlighted in yellow are the sections of the ULDC that will be, or that where the language will change. And at the end of the comparison, there are the definitions that will be amended in the Appendix A of the ULDC and added to Appendix A of the ULDC. I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
I yield the floor to District 4.
Thanks. All right, let's talk a minute. So what you're saying is, when we subdivide a piece of property with 5 lots, we're not going to be required any longer to do a final plat.
Correct.
At all. So we're just going to do a basic plat without all the bells and whistles. Is this what I'm understanding?
Correct.
Now, when we go over 6 lots, we're going to be required at that time to do infrastructure, or what?
You will be considered a major subdivision, which will require all the development regulation requirements. So infrastructure, if you need to tap into a sewer line or a water line, that will be required. If paved roads need to be paved per DOT standards, that will also be a requirement.
Okay. Let me explain to the public a little bit what we're doing here, because we had talked about this in detail. What we're getting into is a person can buy a large piece of property and subdivide it. We don't have any regulations of how many divisions they can do in a minor subdivision right now.
Right, currently there is no limit.
So, I mean, we could have somebody who bought, 20 acres and could rezone it to R1 and put theoretically 20 lots on a piece of property without doing any infrastructure, any additions to water lines, anything to help traffic, transportation, anything, any turn lanes, and just dump driveways out on main roads. So really that's the reason what we're doing here is we're trying to make sure when we put in 10, 12, 15 homes that they come out onto a subdivision street, go out onto an entrance that is properly designed, has an XL-decel lane. And we get into this a lot with stop and sight distance and things with driveways coming out onto roads. And we all have seen roads on 81, driveways coming out, and it just doesn't work. That's really what we're trying to limit it to. So that's kind of where this came back up. We've had a lot of requests. I know a lot of people are coming to see me about subdividing big chunks of property and just cutting them up into minors. So I see where we're going from. I support this. It's good for the county. It's good for growth. It's good for positive type growth. It puts houses and subdivisions where they need to be. So that I support this wholeheartedly. I've looked over all the different things that you're changing, and I don't really see any issues with it at this time. The question I would have at this time, I don't know, is George here?
George Patterson?
Yeah.
He's not here this
Okay.
evening.
At this time, we are required to do on minor subdivision legal description on every lot. Are we still going to be required to do that, or is this going to cut
To my
that off?
knowledge, that still would be a requirement.
Okay. Still on just to the 5 and under? Okay.
Yes.
All right. Okay, that's all I have, Chairman.
Anybody else have any comments? I yield the floor to three.
Dante, just for clarification, if we vote on this tonight, when will this go into effect? Tomorrow?
Effective tonight's date, or the date of this meeting.
So anything's in there now is grandfathered in. Anything beyond that would start off tomorrow.
Anyone who has submitted plans or submitted application to the county is vested at that time, the day of submitted.
I read the background on this, and in 12, they tabled it. After a lengthy conversation, the board tabled it.
Yes.
So I'm just curious as to why somebody before us had issues. I know Mr. Commissioner Bowman at the time basically recused himself because he was getting ready to divide up a significant tract of land and give parcels to his children. So I think, did somebody revisit that later? Or was that the only time they visited in 12?
That was the first time that the Board of Commissioners heard the case, and tonight is the time that we are actually revisiting it 4 years later.
Is it any negative downsides to this?
No. When you're looking, and it's pretty average surrounding counties and other jurisdictions that I've actually administered ordinances for, that for minor subdivisions, 5 lots is usually what you see. So in our particular case, we're just going to define it as a lot division, and anything above 5, 6 or more will be considered a major subdivision.
Is this adding to the standard, or is it taken away?
Adding to.
Yes, sir.
One thing to note, if it was a family that was just trying to subdivide, they can do 5 subdivisions, and then I believe in 5 years, they're eligible to do 5 more.
Yes.
So, I mean, it's not the end of the property if somebody owned 100 acres and they were trying to cut it up.
Okay, all right. If that's the way it is. Anybody else got any comments or questions?
So this won't really affect somebody that owns property that want to subdivide it, give it to their children.
They would have to comply. If they wanted to divide their property up and they say, let's just say they have 100 acres, they'll be limited to 5 splits of the lot. And then if they go further than that, it's major. And so another 5 years, another 5 lots.
What's the true purpose of this? Because it's almost like somebody that owns a large tract of land, we're telling them what they can and what they cannot do with their property.
Not necessarily. It's similar to what Commissioner Prince said, in that we are keeping in mind the road issues, the congestion of our traffic, the infrastructure, trying to just basically be strategic and how much of that is, how much influx we'll have in that.
Have we had that issue in the past?
With traffic?
Yeah, with road projects and somebody trying to subdivide a property?
Well, as far as the past goes, and someone trying to subdivide property, whatever the previous regulations were and what they are now, that's what they were able to utilize to subdivide property. Here, last week, we had a minor subdivision applicant and dividing a piece of property up into 12 lots, and they were wanting to rezone to R1. So each lot would be 1 acre. So with our current regulations, there's no limit. And so what you're looking at is someone who has 100 acres, and if they could do 100 lots, just kind of hypothetically, then you're looking at a large influx with potential traffic.
I guess my question, have we had a problem in the past?
Since I've been here, there hasn't been a particular problem, per se.
Any other questions? Yes, sir.
Just to answer Bruce's comment, it's coming. As the economy picks back up, it's not your family, your homegrown people that are going to be cutting it up. It's going to be your developers going out and buying, 100 acres, and instead of putting in a street like they should and infrastructure, they'll come in and do lots, just driveway after driveway after driveway after driveway after driveway after driveway after driveway, which you've seen coming out onto like 81. 20. And that's not what Henry County's about. That's not the direction we want to go. That's okay in a small county where you don't have a lot of traffic and a lot of issues. But when we get into, a developer buying 100 acres, he needs to put a street in. He needs to properly design the entrance. The houses need to exit onto a 25-mile-an-hour street. It's also safety as well, because you're talking about people exiting and entering a highway. And how fast can you go in your driveway? 5 miles an hour? So
Can we do that just with the condition, putting the condition in place?
at this time, we don't have anything.
What you will be looking at, Commissioner Holmes, is if a property is zoned by right, then that skips the process of going through a rezoning if they have the zoning that they need to develop the property as it's currently zoned, which means you won't have the opportunity to condition it. So if we have regulations in place that all developers or potential developers have to follow, then you have the ordinance that will govern.
Let's see where it goes.
You got any more questions? You got one?
Describe a major.
I'm sorry, Commissioner Moss, I can barely hear you.
Could you describe a major subdivision?
Would I describe it?
Yes.
A major, in my own words, and then I'll read the definition we're going to add to the ULDC. A major subdivision, simply put, is a subdivision at this point, if this is adopted, where there will be more than 6 or more lots. But prior to this being adopted, if it's adopted tonight, right now, a major subdivision is that requires utilities, infrastructure, and improvements as such. So I'll read the definition for you so that you'll see what the technical term will be if this is approved tonight. A major subdivision is a type of development not classified as lot division, including but not limited to the subdivision of land resulting in of 6 or more lots, or any size subdivision requiring the installation of any street, public or private, or utilities or other public improvements or infrastructure.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions, comments? This requires a public hearing. I'll open the floor up for 10 minutes. Anybody like to speak, come to the podium, state your name, and it'll be 10 minutes total for anybody that'd like to speak. So now would be the time to come up and speak for or against or make any comment you like about this proposed amendment to the ordinance. Seeing none, hearing none, I declare that the public hearing portion has been met, and now we yield the floor to any commissioner that'd like to consider amending the ordinance.
Move to approve.
Have a motion for District 4. Have a motion.
Second.
Have a second for District 1. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, same sign. So moved. Thank you.
Thank you.
Resolution approving a supplemental agreement for the design of Campground Road extension. Rocky. Good evening.
Good evening, Chairman and board members. Campground Road extension is a SPLOST 3 approved design project, and it was approved back in November 24th, 2003, per BOC Resolution 03-411. Additional design work is needed to satisfy Georgia transmission right-of-way conflicts that require profile adjustments, bridge redesign, signal redesign at Stera 42, and lighting plans. Additional wall design, Henry County Water Authority coordination, and adjacent development coordination is needed. Kimley Horn and Associates has provided a supplemental agreement for the design fee of $59,671. Funding for the supplemental agreement is available in the project budget. Staff recommends approval of the design fee changes of $59,671 to Kimley Horn and Associates. Take any
Who was originally
questions?
contracted for the design?
Excuse me?
Who was originally contracted for the design?
Kimley Horn.
Okay.
It's been the same engineering firm since 2003.
Okay, anybody got any questions for Rocky? Yes, sir.
Rocky, we're going to have a discussion that we've already had, but I think the public needs to hear it here. I am taking issue with them charging us to redesign this bridge. They've said they have to redesign it to get the 37-foot clearance from the power lines. The issue I have is, and we're just having this discussion for the public, is the power lines have been there the entire time. When someone hires me as a consultant and I design something for them, I do all my research, I do my due diligence, I design it correctly. If I design it incorrectly and I'm redlined by Henry County. I don't charge my client to redesign something that I missed. I do feel that this engineering firm has missed this. It is not our responsibility to do their due diligence for them. They should know that there's power lines there. They did surveys there. They should have had, you know, aerials and everything they needed. They should know when you're doing an aerial bridge. You have power lines, you need to deal with these. I take issue with paying them to redo plans that should have been done correctly in the first place. I'm going to go ahead and vote to move this along, but I do want to go back to the table. I don't think we should be paying this to them. They either need to be splitting it with us or just not charging us at all. I don't appreciate this. It should have been taken care of on the first end, and actually, in my opinion, it should have been fixed correctly first off, and we wouldn't be back in design phase right now, because I'm ready to get this project moving, and you know, where are we at on even bidding this thing out now?
Well, the one thing I would say, and I'm not taking any sides, but the bridge is over the railroad tracks, as you know. And the railroad tracks is depressed.
Understand.
And the natural ground, basically the bridge is going, the original design was basically on natural ground that is there. We provided plans to the utility companies. We didn't hear from the Georgia Transmission until once we got into the right-of-way acquisition. And at that point, that's when they told us that because of that 500 kV line that they have out there, because especially summertime, you know, you understand, it was sagged. And that's when we found out about it. So, you know, I would more likely to talk to them about it, like I told you before, just to get this moving forward.
Yeah, just to move this forward, but.
And you asked where we are in.
Yeah, where are we at? We're at the point now, we need to get this thing out to bid, and we need to get.
We're really close to putting it out for bid. I think the county attorney is going to bring another property, and I think it's the last one, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe so.
If I'm not mistaken, maybe one more. One more. Yeah, one more. So once we pass that, we're going to be ready to just about putting it out for bid. So hopefully in August, we're working with stormwater. There's some issues with stormwater. We're actually going to meet Monday out in the field just to look at the outfalls. We want to make sure that all the stormwater requirements are taken care of in the design as well. So I have spoken with the engineer about that. He's not going to charge anything additional if we have to do anything additional regarding stormwater. So
are we talking stormwater 2017 requirements or stormwater 2016 requirements?
I think the main thing, we're working with stormwater to make sure we just don't impact anybody downstream. That's what we're going to be looking at. That's the main focus, to just make sure that we don't impact anybody downstream. We do have some ponds, you know, as you know, on our plans. We just want to make sure, take one more look, make sure nothing gets, you know, oversight. There's no oversight on it, and just make sure that we don't impact nobody. So,
okay.
But we should be able to have final set of plans and everything ready to go for bid in August, mid-August or so. So as soon as right-of-way is clear, which I hope by August.
Yeah, we've got
meeting.
County Attorney, where are we at? We've got the one we're doing tonight, and then we've got.
And I believe we have one after that, and everything else the board has authorized condemnation on. We have filed. We're probably lacking a couple filing. Just waiting on the checks to work their way through the system, because I need the check when I file the petition. But otherwise, I think we are.
What about the last?
As I sit here, I think we're done on the acquisition. Now we may spend another year litigating the ones we've condemned, but
not me.
We will have acquired the right of way.
Okay. You said there's one more property.
There's one that I'm not ready to present to you tonight. That we're still working out some details with the property owner.
But 2 weeks.
Oh, yeah. If I can't have it done by the next meeting, y'all are going to have to condemn it.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
Let me ask this. If I understand this correctly, the biggest part of this is the bridge has to be redesigned because of an existing transmission line. Is that a true statement?
Correct.
So
there's existing
the transmission line was existing. So when did somebody, who would be the one to go out and stake, or who would address the transmission line?
It would be the utility companies. Usually they're the ones who tell us if there's any conflicts. Same thing goes with Georgia Power or the Water Authority. They're the ones who tell us that there's any conflict. If we don't hear from them, we basically, there's no conflict. On this one, there was conflicts also on State Route 42, because of the signal. We originally had concrete poles, and because of the wire, they wanted X amount, I think it was 37 feet of clearance, and they were afraid that even somebody servicing the signal once it was installed, that the energy that those big lines have could give harm to somebody working. So we went to, on that case, we had to change from concrete poles to mast arms, which is basically what we have on Fairview Road and also around the square, those types of signal fixtures.
Relying on what Commissioner Prince said and what you said, you indicated that you might get with them and somebody may reduce this. Is that what was said?
Yes.
Based on my experience, if you approve this resolution as read, we're going to owe them $59,671, and I'm going to be authorized to pay that. So it doesn't give any wiggle room to negotiate. So I think
a little. The bid process, we do score engineering firms in a bid process. This would probably subtract a point from the engineer when they went to bid on another project.
I know you said probably, but the language was that you indicated that you can talk to them and they'll probably reduce this. If we're going to reduce it, we need to have the chair needs to have some latitude on the contract when it comes to me, because right here, if the contract comes in for $59,671, I'll sign it. So,
well, we need to get the project moving.
I understand that, but it's a lot of ways you can do certain things contingent upon certain things happening. So I don't know, this would be a legal question as to how you can keep the project moving and contingent that we may or may not pay the $59,671.
You could authorize a contract up to that amount and Rocky wait and present it when we know what that final number is going to be. If it's something that can be negotiated in a matter of a couple of days, you're setting the max on the contract.
So what we need to do, and therefore, it says that the Henry County Board of Commissioners approve the supplemental agreement design fee not to exceed. It's not going to exceed it anyway, so not to exceed. Would that be acceptable?
Chairman, that was the recommendation from procurement also.
Yeah. Do not to exceed.
Right, and then SPLOST will just hold off on bringing the contract to you know it's the best price you can get.
You acceptable with that? Does everybody agree with that language change? Okay, what I've done, I made a pen and ink change, which will be part of the record, that I just merely, where it says design fee of $59,000, I just put down a design fee not to exceed $59,671. So if somebody want to move in that direction.
Rocky, shouldn't Kimberly Horn, shouldn't they have picked this up?
Say that again, sir?
Kimberly Horn, shouldn't they have picked this up? I mean, it's their mistake.
I agree. I mean, that's pretty obvious.
I can't support this. I just, if they messed up, I mean, they got to eat this. I mean, shouldn't they have picked this up?
I really don't see how, if we provide the information to the utility companies, they're the ones who tell us if there's a conflict. You know, if we don't hear from them, then we don't know if there's a conflict. We didn't hear from them until we get into the right-of-way acquisition, because we did have to acquire some right-of-way from them, from the Georgia Transmission Company.
You didn't hear from Georgia Transmission, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, we submitted plans to all the utilities, and it was not until we actually got into the right-of-way, that's when we found out that there was a conflict.
But Kimberly Horn had to go out there. They had to see this transmission.
I'm pretty sure, yeah, they should have seen it. It's in the plan, so it is in the plans. I'm not going to say it is in the plan, so.
Some of your questions, in my opinion as well, when did they submit to the power company? I mean, are we talking about they submitted the last submittal of right before the acquisition? And that's the whole thing.
Right.
I can't pay for them submitting to the power company at the very end of the project saying, oh, whoops, you owe us $59,000. doesn't fly with me. So,
I think to keep it moving, we're gonna have to do something like not to exceed and negotiate something less than 59,000. Other than that, it's gonna stop that portion.
other than that, yeah, I mean, other than that, it just
till we come
dies.
back again.
So
While we're debating on this, I'm gonna make a public service announcement. We've been advised by our EMA director, 911 director, that heavy weather is moving in this area and it'll be here in about 20 minutes. So that gives you a little heads up. So does anybody like? Okay,
and
somebody needs
Rocky
to move.
negotiate this. If you, I'll talk to him.
Okay, well,
You moving in that direction?
Exactly what you do.
You make the motion.
No.
Read what change I made?
Yeah, the change.
Okay, the change I made was it says at the end, it says, now therefore be it resolved, the Henry County Board of Commissioners approves the supplementary agreement design fee not to exceed $59,671 to Kimberly Horn. That was the language. I just added to not to exceed.
I'll do that.
That'll give you some wiggle room.
Move to approve.
Have a motion, District 4? Second, District 5. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, same sign. So moved. If you got your windows down, it'd be a good time to go let your windows up. Resolution approving additional design work for Jodico Road at Black Hall Road.
yes, Chairman, SPLUS 4 was approved by voters in November of 2013. Jodico Road at Black Hole Road is a designated SPLUS 4 Priority 1 project approved for design September 2nd, 2014, per BOC Resolution 14-222. Citizens in the Heritage Ridge subdivision have requested a left turn lane at Jodico Road. The original design scope did not include a left turn lane on Jodico Road for the Heritage Ridge subdivision. A traffic count was performed by Henry County DOT, and a left turn lane is warranted. Heath and Lineback engineers have provided a design fee of $24,000 to design the additional turn lane. This intersection improvement project has an 80% federal participation and a 20% county participation matching funds. The federal participation for the design phase has been utilized, and the county will bear the cost of the $24,000 if approved. There will be additional costs for right-of-way and construction due to the addition of the left turn lane at Heritage Ridge subdivision. Funding for the additional design fee is available in the project budget. Staff recommends approval of the design fee of $24,000 to Heath and Lineback for the additional turn lane at Heritage Ridge subdivision for the Jodico Road at Black Hole project. Take any questions?
What impact is it going to have on the bid when we bid it out for construction?
That is unknown, but we do have a limit as well from based on the original contract with GDOT. As long as we don't exceed that, we should be okay. But if it exceeds, adding the turn lane is not a lot of asphalt. It's not a lot of, you're still going to put asphalt anyways, regardless. So adding a little bit more is not going to make an impact on the price. Right away, there might be some impact. We haven't done any design on this, or we don't know. So there will be a little bit of impact as well on the right of way. How much? Again, it's kind of unknown because we don't know how much additional. Are we going to add 10 feet, 5 feet? We don't know at this point.
Are you saying there's a possibility we've got to acquire more right of way?
Correct, because we're adding more width, and the way we have it originally, we didn't have that additional width for that turning lane.
Okay. Anybody else got any questions or comments? Have a resolution in the book. Somebody move in that direction.
Move to approve.
Have a motion, District 4. Second, District 3. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, same sign. Resolution approving the project framework agreement between the Henry County and Georgia Department of Transportation for Rock Quarry Road widening.
Yes, Chairman. Rock Quarry Road widening is an approved District 4 SPLUS 4 project. Henry County government was notified by Georgia Department of Transportation that GDOT would like to enter into a project framework agreement with the county for the widening improvements on Rock Quarry Road. The project framework agreement, or PFA, details preliminary engineering commitments, of which up to $1.2 million is federal participation and $300,000 is county participation. Additional specific activities agreements for the right-of-way, utility relocation, and construction phases will be sent to the county at the appropriate time. Staff recommends approval of the PFA, or Project Framework Agreement, between Henry County and the Georgia Department of Transportation for the Rock Quarry widening. I'll take any questions.
Anybody got any questions? If not, somebody move the resolution as read.
Comment,
Yes, sir.
Chairman. Sorry.
Yes, sir.
Rock Quarry Road, long time coming.
Yes, sir.
Can you simply take the public through the process and time frame so that we don't get ahead of ourselves? There seems to be a lot of times that we vote on these projects wide and such forth, and then people think if we're not moving in 6 months that something's not happening. So just real quick, I know we're all kind of tired, but if you could just run through real quick the time frame typical, the process typical, just real quick.
Yes, Commissioner. This is going through the Georgia DOT process. So the first thing is just to have a selected firm, and that's what's coming right after this resolution. The next thing is once the Georgia DOT signs this PFA, we'll have a kickoff meeting. In the kickoff meeting, we'll have all the entities regarding, designing utilities and so forth. But going through the process, the GDOT process, you're looking about 2 years to design this project. There's going to be public information meetings, hopefully by the end of this year. The first thing is going to be a concept. After concept will be the public information meeting. Then you'll have the environmental. That's going to be the biggest piece of this project. There's Rum Creek. There's a wetland that is out there that it's got a covenant. So we're going to have to go through that process trying to mitigate that, and that's going to take some time. And then after that, we'll be doing, once we have environmental approved, that's when we can go into right-of-way approval from the GDOT to go ahead and acquire the right-of-way. And then, of course, final plan. So just doing that, going through GDOT, you're looking at minimum, on a good day, 2 years. We're going to push because I know it's a very important corridor. Of course, got the hospital. So it's about 2 years, and then right away is probably going to take about a year or so. There's a lot of properties out there, and construction will probably about 2.5 to 3 years, just because of the length of the project. So altogether, even if it gets approved today, you're probably looking something completely done, minimum 7 years in a very good day.
Okay, and just to my constituents, this is my #1 priority project, and it's the hospital. From my area of Stockbridge, getting to the hospital, this is about it. I mean, you can go around, but about 5 o'clock, it's impassable completely. I have reached out to the delegation, up to the Capitol, reached out to DOT, I've reached out to everyone, try to help with some funding, but I need my constituents to realize design is going to take 2 years. It doesn't matter, it's going to take about 2 years. There are some concerns with some homes that are around the sides of that we're going to be getting into them. We'll not be doing that. We'll just acquire right away on the other side of the road in that area. So no homes are going to be knocked down or taken. We're just going to take minor amounts of right away that we have to. But I just need my constituents to understand, be patient. We're starting, we're moving. This is federal dollars, so there's some other things in there. But 2 years to get this design done. And hopefully we'll look at getting the funding at that time. And I'm working on trying to get the funding for it. But it's 2 years, and if we have the funding at the end of 2 years, it'll still be probably 7 years before you see this happen. And that's just how long it takes. So anyway, with that, I gladly move to approve if nobody else has any questions.
Anybody got, you put that in form of a motion?
Motion to approve.
Okay, have a motion in second, District 5. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, same sign, so moved. Resolution approving engineering design service for Rock Quarry Road widening.
Yes, Chairman. As I mentioned before, Rock Quarry Road widening is an approved District 4 SPLOST 4 project. Henry County Board of Commissioners approved the PFA just a second ago today. The federal participation for preliminary engineering will be $1,171,483.92. The county participation will be $292,870.98 for a grand total of $1,464,354.90. The purchasing department issued a request for proposals, RFP number 16-53. 5 proposals were received and reviewed by the Committee of Henry County Planning and Engineering staff professionals. The committee reviewed and submitted the submitted proposals, and all proposals were scored and ranked. Croy Engineering, LLC, provided a fee for the design of rock quarry widening in the amount of the $1,464,354.90. As I mentioned before, it's an 80-20 based on the amount provided by Croy. Funding for the engineering design services available in the project account, and staff recommends approval of the engineering design for the rock quarry road widening to Croy Engineering, LLC, in that amount of $1,464,354.90.
Anybody got any questions?
My constituents, my cohorts from Croy Engineering are here, and I did speak with them, just let everybody know, and they're going to try to expedite this as fast as they can and get this thing through the process. So we'll be working with them on this, and appreciate them coming on board, and appreciate this thing moving forward. And I really appreciate the funding that we got, because we actually got this funding from, it was ARC, is that correct?
ARC, yes.
ARC, and we applied for that, and we're glad to get it.
Yep.
And put it to this project. So with that, I'd like to make a motion to move to approve.
Here's second. Second, District 5. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, same sign, so moved. You okay, Rocky? You want to take a break?
I'm good.
Resolution approving the project framework agreement between Henry County and the Georgia Department of Transportation for SR 81 widening.
Yes, Chairman. State Route 81 widening is an approved 50-50 cost share district between District 1 and District 3 plus 4 project. Henry County government was notified by the Georgia Department of Transportation that GDOT would like to enter into a PFA, or project framework agreement, with the county for the widening improvement of State Route 81. Just as the one before, this one is for $1.2 million federal participation and $300,000, up to $300,000 for county participation. Additional specific activities and agreements for the right-of-way, utility relocation, and construction phases will be sent to the county at the appropriate time. Staff recommends the approval of this PFA between Henry County and Georgia DOT for State Route 81 widening.
Anybody got any questions, comments, District 1?
Hey, Rocky, this widening is from Mount Bethel Church to McDonough.
It's going to go from where the one-way pair ends, which is just east of Lemon Street, all the way to Bethany.
Bethany Church.
Bethany,
I
yes,
said Mount Bethel.
yes.
I'm sorry. I meant
Bethany.
Bethany.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions, comments? If not, somebody move. You have a comment from District 3.
Rocky, do you know what the time frame to them get started?
Basically, it's going to go in conjunction with the rock quarry. We do have a different firm, engineering firm, so we're also looking around 2 years for the design on this one as well.
Okay. This is going to be a great project. Commissioner Moss and myself, we made this part of the SPLOSH project, and it's like DOT, they told us if we would put this on our SPLOSH, they would find the money to do the project. So I'm excited about that, as well as we've got some information the other day that they're going to come in and make some intersection improvements at Rossler Road and also Upchurch Road, and looks like we're going to get a roundabout down there around Snap and Show, so we're really excited about that. That's all, Chairman.
Anybody else have any comments? Somebody move in that direction? Have a motion, District 1, second, District 3. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, same sign. So moved. Resolution approving the engineering services for SR 81 widening.
Yes, Chairman. State Route 81 widening is again, an approved 50/50 cost share District 1 and District 3 SPLOST 4 project. Henry County Board of Commissioners just approved the PFA between the county and GDOT. Federal participation for the preliminary engineering will be $1,199,480, and the county participation $299,870 for a total of $1,499,350. Purchasing Department issued a request for proposals, RFP number 16-54. We received 8 proposals, and they were reviewed by the Committee of Henry County Planning and Engineering staff professionals. The committee reviewed all submitted proposals, and they were scored and ranked. Moffitt and Nichols provided the fee for the design of State Route 81 in the amount of $1,499,350. As mentioned before, the federal participation will be $1,199,480, and the county will be $299,870. Funding for the engineering design services, it is available in the county project, and we recommend to move forward with the design of State Route 81.
Any questions or comments? Anybody want to move in that direction?
Move to approve.
Have a motion, District 3, second District 1. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, same sign.
Thank you.
County Manager, resolution authorizing the release of equipment necessary to maintain Cottonfield Golf Course. County Manager and a backup, Tim Coley. Good evening.
Good evening, Board. Tim's not backup, he's primary. Commissioners, we have two.
He's in the back.
I see.
That's a backup.
The first two items before the Board of County Commissioners is the Board is aware that some time back we were advised that the current contractor was pulling away prematurely from the dates we had initially planned, which meant we had to move into acquisition of golf carts and the equipment necessary to run the golf course. This first proposal for you is to order the golf carts. The total cost on the project is listed there. I think it's $172 and some change. I'm sorry, so item A is going to be the equipment. We got two issues on it, the equipment and the golf course. The equipment leases totals $309,189.60. If you break that over the period, you can see that that comes out to be the, let's see here, 51.
On the equipment, you're talking about the leasing
mowing
equipment is $5,153.16 per month for 60 months.
And that turns out to be $309,189.60.
That's correct, for 60 months. And then you're talking about a Kubota.
It's included in that. It's just describing some of the pieces that are in it, within it.
Well, it's not included in that 309,189. The Kubota for $429.27 a month for 48 months is $20,604. Is that what you show?
Mm-hmm.
The mowers is $309.89 for 60 months. The tractor is $20,604 for 48 months. So one is for 5 years and one is for 4 years.
Yes, sir. I'm trying to pull up 18. Yes, sir. The Kubota tractor is four-wheel hydraulic shuttle transmission is available through Kubota if we needed that tractor. And if I required that, that would be an additional to it. Tim?
I'm going to break in here with a public service. 911 said that the weather's going to be here in probably 5 minutes, significant weather.
Everything else was included in our way of reading. The two mowers that are on the top, they are included in the initial lease. The Kubota tractor is a larger tractor that was not. You're correct, Chairman. And it would be an addition. We've got tractors, but unfortunately don't have everything we need out there for all the mowing. The good news about this particular proposal is that they are the type of equipment we've already using. They're Toro, and we can use those to supplant some capital purchases that would have to be scheduled in the next couple of years either way. And by example that, we take off one set of mowers or pump schedules and put a different kind of mower on it to better suit if we needed to move those out of cotton fields and into the regular fleet. The recommendation is to go ahead and approve the lease, and we order the equipment and get it here as soon as we can.
I know here a while back, Commissioner Barham had a question about giving local people that provided the same service or equipment. And I think don't we have a Kubota place down here?
It was a Kubota tractor that Commissioner Barham and I discussed, and had a question to do with what we were doing on a cooperative purchasing, meaning the state contract versus here as a local.
So
when Commissioner Barham went and
did we get a bid from these people?
Sir?
Did we get a bid from Mason? Is that the name of it?
Mason Tractor.
Mason Tractor?
No, this is our current contract pricing that we have available for Toro. So it's.
Okay, I don't have any questions. Anybody have any? I yield the floor to District 4.
Comment. I'm in favor of this, and let me explain to the public why real quick. We can use these tractors at a different location. So if things don't go the way they should or whatever happens at the golf course, we can take these and start cutting our right-of-ways, which...
Yes, sir, ball fields, right-of-ways, our facilities and things like that. The only one that'd be marginal would be the heads for the greens. That's the only thing that we don't do a lot of greens mowing.
Sure.
But if we take that off the front end and we plug in another one that would be more suitable for baseball.
Grass.
Soccer fields.
Good, fantastic, because we get a lot of complaints about grass on right-of-ways and in other areas, so if we can repurpose these at some other time, I'm all for that. So that's my 10 cents.
Could you put that executive summary on the board right there, please, just for sight?
I think so.
If you look over my head there, that's when somebody's telling me that the weather's going to be here. 3 minutes. I don't know if this is a science or it's an art about the weather. But I feel compelled. Okay, does anybody else have any questions?
Yes, about the executive summary, Mr. Chairman.
Why are these things so blue? Is yours blue?
It was some of both.
Oh. Anybody have any comments or questions? Now's the time to. If no comments or questions, to have a resolution in the book. Does somebody move in that direction?
Move to approve.
Have a motion to approve.
Second.
Second, District 5. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, no. Resolution authorizing the lease of golf carts necessary to operate cotton field.
Commissioners, we're in the same boat with this one. The contract we initially were considering with the management was to continue on the proposal through the March date. And at this point in time, with the contractor pulling out, all we need to do is settle up the accounts. We have some equity in the leases we've been paying up, but the best recommendation we came in to go ahead and lease purchase 55 golf carts as is listed on here. The total cost of the golf carts, is one change in the contract. It says emerald, and they don't really care which color we get. We think the sandstone is probably a better choice on it, but we'll sort that out amongst ourselves. But the golf cart lease for 4 years is $172,273.75. We recommend to go ahead and approve the lease and let us get them ordered and get them here as soon as possible.
Could you put that executive summary on the board too, please?
I think so.
Anybody got any comments or questions?
You and I had this discussion. You know, at one time we were going, I guess, lease these golf carts from the existing person that we was using the golf course, but these are actually a better deal leasing these for the 4 years, and we could have got the others. Is that correct?
On several fronts, Commissioner. These carts are going to be the state of the art. They're fuel injected. We get 45 miles a gallon. They have an independent rear suspension. It's entirely different. They're wider. I've been watching their videos and been talking to the contractor. They have adapters so you can plug in your cell phone. It has the right features in it that it should have there. We were going to be in a situation come March where we would have a contract that was out. We have a $108,000 buyout of that agreement. When we looked on point, what the equipment we needed, the length we were going in, and the buyout true-up that was necessary with the contractor, plus the $108,000, we elected to recommend this course of action, and that's where we stand on it right now.
Lyndon, also, what comes with this lease? Does this, with all the maintenance of the, if you have trouble with them, I mean, is that going to take care of all the repairs?
No, it does not. It does not include any maintenance on it. That's our responsibility, and that's one of the reasons that was an advantage to move small engine repair from Mr. Jody Sword's office, the fleet management. They now have a presence in that building. They needed some additional space for small engine repair, so now they're in there. They'll be able to look at them sooner. Just to give you one heads up of something that Jody came up with immediately. The current processor drives the golf carts all the way from the cart barn, the full length of the driving range, to the fill barn to fill up each one of the golf carts once or twice a week. We put a 50-gallon pony tank up there. Now it takes care, instead of 3/4 of a day to getting it done, it's done in less than 2 hours. Those are the kinds of efficiencies that staff are bringing to the job. I wish I could take credit for what's going on there, but it's Mr. Coley and staff has really put together a crew, and we've worked through a very difficult circumstance on it.
Yes, sir.
I certainly want to commend Tim Cole in the rec department.
Yes, sir.
I've been going out there once a week, and they have done a fantastic job. It was really had gone downhill, but they verticut the greens yesterday, and I went out there and watched how they do that. But they're just really working hard to really get that place in good shape.
I yield the floor to District 1.
Yeah, Mr. Bonner, I understand they were going to give us some golf carts to use until they have the new ones ready at no charge. Is that correct?
I don't think it's going to be an issue now with this purchase here, but that was the understanding we had before. If it turns out there's a problem, I expect Yamaha to treat us right. It's really a local vendor. These are folks who are, their shop's very close. So the good news about this, not only was it a cooperative buying, which we were allowed to take advantage of state contract pricing, this particular pricing was lower, and he happens to be the vendor. So we ended up getting a very good deal with a local firm, or somewhat more local firm, get a better pricing, and we think we'll have a far superior fleet of golf carts for our guests to use.
Okay, thank you.
Any other further questions? Have a motion in the book. Somebody want to move in that direction?
Move to approve.
Have a motion, District 3. Second, District 5. Any further discussion? All in favor for the motion, raise your right hand. All opposed? So moved. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioners.
County Attorney resolution approving the nuisance abatement for 175 Fairfield Drive.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman. As the board will recall, meeting last month, discussion about the abandoned neighborhood swimming pool at 175 Fairfield Drive came up, and the board committed at that point to proceed with trying to clean it up. In order to gain the legal authority to clean it up, we have to file in court what is called a nuisance abatement action. The resolution before you will authorize me to file that action. We will file it in magistrate court, and we will ask the court to enter an order authorizing the county to abate the nuisance. Now, there was a lot of discussion before about exactly what are we going to do to abate the nuisance. This resolution doesn't require us to make that determination. Ultimately, the court's going to tell us what we can do. Mr. Weems and or the building department staff or whoever it is that ultimately testifies will make a recommendation to the court, and it's likely the court will follow that recommendation. But this resolution will give me the authority to file the nuisance abatement action. I'll actually file it on behalf of Mr. Weems because he's your code enforcement director. He's authorized to be that plaintiff. and that will allow me to get a court order that authorizes us to abate the nuisance at the county's expense and assess a lien on that property in case there's ever a chance we get that money back. It's pretty unlikely that we'll ever get any of this money back, so I think it's important that the board understand that this is not likely something that will get reimbursed. The reason the pool's in the condition it's in is the homeowners association is essentially dissolved. So,
Anybody have any comments or questions?
Board on this issue, and initially I had a problem because it's private property. However, through the conversations with the chairman, county manager, I now realize that this is truly a public health issue, especially with the Zika virus and some of the other things that come along with having this water in this pool. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to anybody else who has a comment.
Anybody else have any questions or comments?
I have one question, Jeff.
Yes, sir.
We've done the resolution. The resolution was to demolish the pool house and the other structure, but that was on a separate bid. So the only thing we're going to be moving for now is to demolish the swimming pool and fill it in. Because if you look at this picture, that fence is down right there. Kids been going in, throwing stuff in there. And we still been treating that pool with mosquito tablets, but you know, 3 years ago we drained that pool and repaired that fence, but it's not filled back up with the rainwater over the year.
So what are you saying we need to do?
What we need to do is drain it, knock a hole in the bottom of the cement, put one hole of water, and backfill it with dirt, seed and straw the area.
So we need to do that.
Mr. Chairman, you don't need to authorize that. Actually, the court will authorize that.
Yeah, that's what I'm
And
thinking.
as long as Mr. Weems has funds in his budget to achieve that, whether or not he has to bring a contract back for your authorization, I'm not sure. I'm not sure how that.
I think he has to bring the contract back.
Well, if it's under, it'll likely be under the threshold.
Yeah, we took quotes on it. The cheapest quote on doing that was $8,000.
Oh, so we don't have to come back with that. The manager can do that. No, you have to come back. Okay. So this resolution will fit all this and take care of this problem. Is that correct?
That's correct. And it actually, it's going to take the court to fix the problem. And it does, and I know there's some people from the neighborhood. It does take a little time for the magistrate court to work through this.
Are you satisfied with that language in here?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Anybody got any more questions? I yield the floor to District 4.
Real quick, Patrick and Arthur, should we fix the fence like now? It concerns me having a pool without a fence.
I don't have a particular problem with making a repair like that if it's some temporary thing.
Right.
My only concern is before we go in and bust up a pool and fill it, I need court authorization. I don't have an issue if we make some temporary fix on a fence, but I want this nuisance abatement action to be a permanent fix.
Sure.
And I don't want to make a permanent fix until the court gives us that authority.
Okay. Well, I would lobby to fix the fence and then move on.
You say you're going to break the concrete up and remove it, then backfill it?
No, what we got to do, we have to break the concrete in the bottom of the pool, because if you backfill it like it is now, after you drain it, when the water get back on the dirt, it's going to pick it right back up out of there.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. So you're going to actually remove the bottom part of the concrete?
Bottom part, that's correct.
Good, okay, that's it.
Yes, sir.
Some residents out there raising a hand like they would like to speak. Could we allow them an opportunity to come up, speak?
Does somebody?
And I'm also happy to, I don't think I have any cards with me, but I'll give them my contact information and make sure I keep them up to date as we walk through that process.
I think, I'm not kind of cutting anybody short, but I think we just rectified.
I don't think anybody is going to object to this situation. So if nobody's going to object, I'd rather just move forward and vote.
Oh, we're definitely going to move forward.
Okay.
So does anybody want to object in hearing somebody?
I'm going to move that we approve to fix this issue.
Okay, so you're moving to hear somebody, right?
No, that we move
Okay,
to fix
well,
it.
let's move in that direction. I agree, because with all due respect, I think they're going to ask if we're going to fix it. We are going to fix it. We're going to fix it as quick as the law will allow us to fix it. And that's nothing else we can do at this point here. Yes, ma'am. I'll recognize the distinguished lady
But
right there.
until then, we will
You have to
continue
come
to
up.
treat the pool.
Well, we hadn't made a motion yet. Okay, let's take care of this. We got a motion for District 5. Does somebody second the motion?
I'll second.
Second for District 3. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, same sign. So moved. So we're going to hear the distinguished lady. Anybody object?
Good evening. When you say fix the fence, are you just gonna fix it because it's been fixed once before and the kids are still doing the same thing?
What we're going to do is we're going to repair it, just like we did last time. We're going to repair it to a standard, and we'll just have to keep fixing it. Because I know many years ago, when I was executive assistant, we fixed the fence. And we
Sir, it's been fixed before, and this just the way.
What do you recommend?
Go ahead, Jen.
We would like to know if you can just fill the pool up with dirt, like the gentleman said.
That's what we just approved.
Okay.
We just voted on that.
Okay, because right now, we're not just sitting there letting it grow up. We form a committee. We go out there and cut the grass and clean it around there. But inside the fence is where all the trees are growing. And we're afraid of that. Maybe somebody's child might get loose and go into that and fall into that pool.
How about a child? That would be more concern of me than a human.
Yes.
Yeah, but we're gonna repair the fence.
Okay.
And we're gonna take action. Here's the real deal. When you start getting on private property, it has to be difficult to do what we do.
Okay.
Reason being, if it's so simple, we could come to your house and take it. It has to be a difficult process.
Okay.
So we have to go through the court system. This is the attorney. He's gonna handle that, and as quick as we can go through the legal system, we'll correct this problem.
Understood.
Yes,
Mr.
ma'am.
Chairman, clarify that it'll be a two-step process. The first step is Mr. Weems and his folks will make a temporary fix on the fence, and then the permanent fix will come after the court rules and lets us fill that pool in. So once the pool's filled in, I don't think the fence will be a big problem for you because you won't have the pool on the other side of the fence. That's a big danger.
You think that we can get a little park out there?
No, we need to talk about that at a later date.
We want a playground for the kids.
Yeah, we need to talk about it after we get through the pool. Yeah.
Okay, now, we saying that we're out there working, trying to cut grass. Okay, the guys don't have the equipment like the county do. I mean, it's grown up now. Those pictures they had, I don't know when
That's
they
a
took
good
them.
side.
I don't know when they took them, but it's not what it is today. We got trees everywhere. We have cut down, had people to load them up. We loaded them up, and someone took them out to the
Dump.
dump.
And I noticed that it's becoming a dumping area. Now people bringing their old tires, storing them over the fence, and
Throwing them over there. So I live in the back of this.
And it's in my
and
backyard.
It's got frogs and everything else in there, you know. So it's not just the pool, it's the wood and where the trees done fell down, all of that. And we can't do all that.
What we're gonna do, the board up here is gonna eliminate this problem.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Good night.
Yeah.
Is the pool drained or does it have water in it now?
It's a lot of water. And it's green.
Well,
We don't want to swim in it.
we put the tablets in it for the mosquitoes, and we're gonna repair the fence to keep children out of there. Ma'am?
The frogs are singing every night, and the snakes are coming into my backyard. I get more snakes than I ever had since I've been. No, I don't.
Come over there and live for a while.
They okay until they start singing and keeping everybody awake.
I don't care for animals. I'm gonna tell you the truth.
They don't bother me that bad, but I'd rather not for them to be
Can I
there.
share this with you?
Yes.
I have a pool in my backyard that's crystal clear.
Yes.
Guess what I have in that pool
What?
from time to time? I have snakes, I have frogs, they sing at night.
Really?
And I find chipmunks in there from time to time that can't swim. I got little squirrels that drowned.
So what
Anyway,
did you do about it?
I get my net and I take them, throw them out in the woods.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, we appreciate it if you guys go ahead and take care of us.
Thank you. Next, we got an ordinance amending section 3-13-4A6 of the Henry County Code of Henry County regarding consumption of alcoholic beverage in any county park or recreation area by adding new section B regarding the Cottonfield Golf Course. Oh, y'all want to take a 5-minute break while they get out? We're going to take a 5-minute recess. Let these young people out.